sorry, I had to go deal with a couple of things, so I had to cut the first part short. So just going to go through the rest of the detachments. So annoyingly they haven't highlighted it, but so for the sisters who don't have a detachment, the Intransia model is 150 points, which I kind of think confirms that unless it got leader or something else, I don't foresee this replacing anything within units at this time. Maybe 11th edition will be different, maybe the buffs matter more, or the use case for it is easier, but for the T8 model that it is, I don't think it's going to really see an amazing amount of competitive level play. It's a cool model, sure people will kind of test it out, and maybe, like most things, people will find a niche. Spectacular Spite, when it was released, people weren't particularly high on, but you never know what people kind of will come up with. Croyle, the guy on the weird alien horse thing, 100 points. I think that's a really solid price for that unit. I don't really think the Oath ability is going to see as much play as some people think it will, because outside of, say, like Custodes, which are expensive models already, I don't know what you'd cut to fit him in. There's not a whole lot of battle line that are high damage output for people to use. So, I mean, Inquisitorial Agents, sure, might use him. I can't foresee Adeptus Soriatus putting a 100-point model in for rerolls on Battle Sisters. Same for Space Marines, they already have Oath, and getting it on Intercessors in the shooting phase, not amazing. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe Custodes if they can find the points, but what are you going to cut to put him in? Although a lone op for them might be quite useful, that has increasing damage potential and allows basically 100% hit rate because you reroll all the misses of ones. Maybe, but yeah, cool model. Interesting datasheet. I don't think is going to massively see play. So I'm just wondering if they've added in the points for Wazdaka and the other ones. The only thing is they haven't highlighted anything in red, so it's play the find the model. Oh, there we go. Hippogriff, 70 points each. That's really good for that datasheet. I think two of them being 140. I think you probably will see some of them because of the potential for them and their move, shoot, move. Scout Sentinels are only 15 points cheaper. Armoured Sentinels, they do have a las cannon, but are only 5 points less and can't move, shoot, move. So I don't know. I think this kind of fits a similar role. Has assault as well, which makes it quite useful. So I think, yeah, you'll probably see those. It's now a case of remembering what on earth all of the new models were called. I can't find. Ah, there we go. Commissar Yarrick, 150. Yeah. I think that's probably fairish for him. I mean, it's double the price, over double the price of a normal commander or even a command squad itself. So yeah, kind of reasonable. Where's Lord Solar? Because that's the one that I'll be interested seeing what he compares to. There he is, 130. So he is more expensive than Lord Solar, slightly less durable, but it does get back up. So I think that's why he's probably a little bit higher costed and has a massive impact on everything in the army. Almost still can't order Bulgren, but yeah. So he's pretty solid there. Commander Graves, 110. Yeah, sure, that's quite cheap for that vehicle. Doesn't really have an amazing amount of output, but it is quite durable and annoying. And then on foot, 65 points, yeah, kind of fairly standard. 85 points for that transport, same price as a Chimera, basically the same durability. I think we're going to see a lot of Centaurs if people can get hold of the model, because the firing at 12 and the extra OC is insane, because you can do so much with that unit, especially in the new detachment as well, and then also in Grizzled Company is going to be, yeah, the new Chimera, I would expect. And I think that was the only units that were released there. So yeah, I think they're really solid. The enhancements are fairly reasonably priced. We'll have a look at them in a second. And yeah, so depending on what you're putting them on, I guess, but need the context of that one. So I think that's relatively interesting. And then just while we're here, let's have a look at Wazdaka. There he is, 175. Yeah, that's pretty good price wise. He is effectively a better version of a, what's it called, Lord Discordant on Hellstalker, 15 points more, but has lone op, can move 1 billion inches, can go through walls, can redeploy, has Primarch level abilities, 1 less toughness, not as good as space save, but lone op kind of does that, and then also has the WAR for advance and charge and move 1 billion inches. So yeah, I think Wazdaka will be seen. Whether it's in the bike detachment, I'm not sure. I think Warcom is still good, but we'll have a look at the rest of the detachments now and kind of see what actually the rest of it includes. So here we have the orcs. So we already had a look at turbo boosters, which is for speed freaks and trucks. Allows you to go 24 in a straight line, but also gain assault and not charge even in the WAR, so kind of slight downside to that. But we have the one that was already shared, the moving through terrain features. We'll definitely see that on every single war trike, I think, going. Well, the one that you're allowed to take it on, because that's huge. Can't put it in a unit and do that, but it does allow him to just go 24. Dakamech. Each time the bearer uses the Mechan tank ability until the start of your next command phase, ranged weapons equipped by the vehicle model have the rapid fire. Cool. That's very good. Allows for Wazdaka to get rapid fire. I just need to have a look at how the wording looks for the firing deck ability. So counters being equipped. Cool. So you can give it rapid fire, I believe, on trucks. So that's pretty solid. So you can have rocket boys, whatever they're called, tank busters, and the names of things today are evading me. The shooter guys, whatever they're called, get rapid fire, I believe, which is pretty good. Throw that truck forward 24 inches and bombard them a unit with shots, and then rinse and repeat. You then have super burny fuel. Change the attacks characteristics of the bearer's killer jet. Burn a weapon to 3d6, and the attacks of the killer jet cutter to 3. Yeah, that's pretty good. Extra shots on that, 24 inches, dead straight line, shoot the crap out of something. So yeah, again, solid, but there is only so many points you might have to spend on all this. Big Mech, improve the ballistic skill or characteristic of the bearer's ranged weapons by 1. Yeah, it's good for that model. So I'm assuming on the shock attack guy, +1 to hit, gonna be really solid on him. On the move, so the stratagems, we didn't see this one before. Movement phase, 1 orcs unit that's not been selected to move. Until the end, your unit is eligible to shoot and declare a charge in which it fell back or advanced, unless it used the turbo. Yep, really good. That's a solid one. And it's the fact that any orc unit can use it is really good, because fall back and do stuff isn't something really they have. and allows kind of anything that got tagged to fall back, shoot and charge, or advance and charge outside of the wall. Yep, really good strat. Dead Killy Construction, 1 speed freak or truck, so slightly more limited. That has not been selected to fight this phase. Melee weapons gain lance and the +1 damage, which was the one of the ones shared. Very specific, because it is your fight phase, so you cannot use the +1 damage if you've got heroic or if you've been charged. So it's a very limited strat, but +1 damage and lance is always really good in general. Mobile Storm, shooting phase just after speed freak or truck has shot. Speed freak or truck unit, select 1 enemy unit hit. This is a good one. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in a speed freak or truck unit from your army makes an attack that targets that unit, improve the strength by 2. You cannot use indirect to trigger it, is the only thing. But yeah, +2 strength on anything sitting inside one of the trucks is pretty good. Even making looters higher strength. Tank busters go to strength 11, I believe, but they obviously don't get their anti-vehicle ability. And the flash kits, there's the name. +2 strength on flash kits is huge for them. And then you have dust trails. Opponent shooting phase just after an enemy unit selected targets. 1 orcs unit from your army that was selected as the attack target of 1 or more of the attacking units. Your unit has the benefit of cover. Yeah, kind of nice, I guess. If this kind of goes into 11th, getting -1 to be hit would be really good as well. But cover might be nice against low AP on the bikes to keep them alive. On a normal orcs unit, the benefit of cover maybe not as good. On a truck maybe might be useful if it's out in the open, but yeah, kind of useful. And special ammo is the anti-monster vehicle one that we were kind of showcased. That's really good on a lot of things. There's not dev wounds sadly, but it does mean that flash kits particularly can shoot the holy bejesus out of a vehicle, probably do quite a bit of damage, especially if they've been given the rapid fire inside a truck, so they stay safe and don't even have to get out, and have moved 24 inches. Yeah, flash kits could be a problem. 20 flash kits could be a thing again, because going 24 inches and shooting with that unit is going to hurt a lot of armies. Put a speed freak or truck unit into reserves, and it is not, unlike a lot of the ones that have come out, not limited to within X of a board edge. So yeah, that's really solid. I assume on the death copters, being able to uppy downy them with deep strike, I assume they have. If they don't, still coming in on a board edge is really solid. Yeah, that is a solid load of strats, even allowing your flash kits to kind of disappear off the board and kind of redeploy is also really good. So death copters, let's just have a look. They don't thankfully have, oh they do have deep strike, so there you go. So they can just kind of drop in up and down and kind of shoot across the board and have their up to 63 rockets be anti-monster vehicle with twin linked, so kind of gets over their strength 9 problem. Yeah, I think this is personally a really solid detachment. It gives a very different way of playing orcs. I don't think 36 bikes is the way to go, but I think having solid units of bikes will be good. I think the death copters are going to be good. The buggies, the biggest problem for them is that they are single model units, but I think they will be still good harassment pieces, even at their price points. I still think a lot of shooting platforms in trucks is going to be good. But yeah, I like it. I think it's solid. I think it's going to see lots of potential play. Whether it does well, not sure, because they do love to kind of test new things out with orcs. They're quite good at giving things a go in kind of competitive play. So I think we will see it. assuming people can get hold of Wazdaka bikes, and everything for orcs has very suddenly gone out of stock in a lot of places online. So there is obviously people that believe they've seen potential in play. I think that detachment is good now that we've seen all the strats. I think it gives a very different way. It also means you can skew away from running infantry, which just get kind of hoovered up, and probably gives orcs a very good way of dealing with a Catan at range without having to kind of throw away expensive units, or just having to rely on Gaz and the blob of death with him. So with this one, the Blitz Brigade, it's the reroll advance and charges when you get out of transports. A lot of transport theme on all of these detachments. Outside of the War, as I said, whoop-de-doo, you're kind of not really going to be using it as much except for staging as an ability. So it's almost like a go-turn ability. So you will make and connect with every charge. Running boots, orcs, infantry character model only. Each time you make a charge, add 1 to the result. Yep, that's solid. +1 charge is always good, especially in the new edition where charges, although bigger engagement range, charges technically get further than they are now because you have to do the base to base. So +1 to charge makes it like 10th edition charging. Blitz Captain, orcs character model only. Don't know what other kind of character you can take or other kind of thing, but yeah, to my knowledge orcs can't take, but I suppose it's keywording, it just always throws me. After both players have deployed their armies, you can select up to 3 orc vehicle units and redeploy them, and put them in reserve. Very good, but does kind of limit your aggression kind of turn, but yeah, redeploys are pseudo useful sometimes. I don't think this is massively helpful for orcs because none of their vehicles have deep strike, so they can't, you know, appear, disembark, charge from rapid ingress, and people will screen them out, and they're not exactly small. Yeah, I'm not. It's okay, but I don't think it's worth it. Supercharged Squig Oil, Mech model only. Each time the bearer uses its Mech and attack ability until the end of the turn, reroll charges for the selected vehicle model's unit. Yeah. Kill rigs get to reroll charges. Cool. They are definitely not what they were in 9th, and now that they are not monsters is really weird after the whole edition. So yeah, very odd change with those ones, or they've become monster. I can't remember which way around it is. Finally we have Tough Git, orcs infantry character model only. At the end of a phase to which the bearer's unit disembarked from a transport, if that unit is battle shocked, it is no longer battle shocked. Cool, so that's useful. But yeah, weird timing because it's very rare that you've got something in a transport that's battle shocked. Yeah, can't think of a good timing for that one. So mount up the get back in Skyborn Sanctuary. Glad that they've got it. Very good strat. Armored duelists, 1 orc vehicle from your army that has not been selected to shoot. Each time a unit makes an attack, +1 to hit and +1 to win. Yeah, that's really solid. Especially as you can use it on trucks and give +1 to wound, +1 to hit on a unit of flash gets inside, or looters, or tank busters. So tank busters get their ability, I think is that for a CP, and stay safe. Mechanized brutality, 1 battle wagon, kill rig, or hunter rig from your army until the end of the turn. Each time a unit disembarks, that unit can still charge. That's really solid. That's a very good war turn one, I guess. Yeah, it's extra movement without advancing for the unit. Run them down. 1 battle wagon, kill rig, or hunter rig in the movement phase up to 2 other friendly orcs or vehicle or monster units within 6. Each unit you've selected can advance and charge, so you can triple charge with kill rigs. It's pretty good. And then this was the one that it appeared on the website after I did the video, but it wasn't there at the time. Impervious, it's -1 to wound if the strength is higher than your toughness for the battle wagon, kill rig and hunter rig. So yeah, makes it harder to be wounded by anti-tank. Yeah, is a useful strat because pushing anything from 3s to 4s is annoying, or 2s to 3s. Opponent shooting phase just after shot. This is the Disembark and Blood Surge, which again, very solid ability. Allows for that. So that is the Orcs ones. I think the bike one is definitely the better of the abilities, and then we have the new ones for Guard. So we have the Titanic, or basically vehicle unit from the army, almost all the time, can shoot in combat without penalty, excluding attacks made with indirect weapons. So yeah, really good. They basically all become Vindicators without the penalty. Can also, same thing as the Space Marine one, make Titanic unit into a character and make them your warlord, so you can just take all Bane Blades or Bane variants of that tank. Just pretty thematic, but might struggle to deploy or move. But yeah, Astra Titanic character model only. You can give it the voice of command and allow it to do orders. Yep, that's solid and useful. It could, because then by not having other characters on foot running around, gives you orders still. Again, Titanic character one for Titan Killer. Reroll damage. Yep, that's really good on any weapon that is multi-damage on your big crazy tanks. Tech Priest Engineer for Engine Speaker, +3 move on any vehicle. Is quite amusing because the engine speaker is going to really struggle to keep up with vehicles that are then moving even faster than it. Also doesn't stop you from giving move, so can in theory give +6, unless they don't stack. I'd have to have a look. Assault Hatches is the make a Storm Sword, carry 12 Bullgrin and allow them to disembark and charge, which is really solid as an ability, because then you shoot them with the Storm Sword as well. And I think probably the battalion commander is probably the one that would be an auto take, and then the others, and the Assault Hatches is useful, and then the other two are useful depending on what you're running. So Engine of Wrath, 1 CP in the fight phase. The cute give 12 attacks at AP2, damage 1. It's not great. They're still not killing anything. It's not. If it increased damage, would be interesting, but yeah, they're not killing any full unit that they've been stuck in combat with, and I will still be stuck in combat with them and then shoot them to death. Shooting phase just after Astra Militarum for Shattering Salvo. That Titanic unit, select one enemy unit hit by one or more of those attacks until the end of the phase that they cannot cover. Yeah, I don't know what you're shooting that might survive, but I guess you can at least farm out the bad guns to just kind of get a hit and then kind of trigger this for something else in the army to shoot. Or if you have a high AP like melter kind of gun, stripping that cover stops the opponent having a save, kind of useful. Imposing Arrival, reinforcement step of movement phase, 1 Titanic unit from your army, set up your unit on the battlefield wholly within 9, and the of the battlefield edge and more than 6 inches horizontally away from all enemy units. Okay. Yeah. Oh, within 8. Okay, so it allows it to shoot. There we go. Couldn't read the 8. I was trying to work out why on earth you would bother, but I believe obviously they're not going to be 8 inches wide, so if you can fit them in, then they will be able to shoot because they count as different to normal deployment. Adamantine Behemoth. Your movement or charge phase, there's not been selected to move or charge yet. It has to be a vehicle. They can move through terrain, so that makes moving, particularly the Rogel Dawn size or Baneblade Titanic variant, easier to kind of maneuver around a dense terrain set. Withering Firepower. Shooting phase just after a vehicle unit from your enemy army has shot. Select one enemy unit hit by an attack. That unit has to take a battle shock, subtracting 1 for that test. Kind of cute. Problem is they will reset, so it's not going to stop them scoring. Might allow a small unit to steal Storm Hostile or something, but yeah. Or allows the Bullgrin to charge without being interrupted. Yeah, doesn't last long enough. Shooting phase, 1 Astra Militarum unit from your army that has been selected to shoot this phase until the end of the phase. Each time they make an attack, reroll. Yep, really solid one. 2 CP is pretty pricey, as I don't think you're going to have Lord Solar and Yarrick, but reroll hits is always good, especially on a Baneblade or equivalent. Solid strat, bit expensive. Yeah, overall, I'm not amazed by that detachment. If you love to run big tanks, then it's probably kind of your niche, but they kind of die quite easily, and are so many points that you struggle to play the game once you start to run out of units. But it at least gives players a focused detachment. We then finally have Armoured Infantry. Detachment rule is the squadron. You can add squadron to the list of units each officer from your army can order. That's amazing, because it saves you taking tank commanders. You will take lots of transports, because all of the units that become armoured skirmishers are the new units, and then basically the transports. So it's really solid as a detachment. So the new 12 transport capacity, CRV, whatever it's called, is really good. Infantry officer model only. For exemplary officer, each time the bearer issues an order, you can select up to 2 other platoon units. Yep, multiple orders, perfect. Assuming you have stuff still on the board and not all in transports, that's a really solid one. More orders equals good. Infantry officer model only. At the end of your opponent's fight phase, if the bearer is not within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units, you can re-embark in the transport. That's really solid. You have to survive to the end of your opponent's fight phase is the only thing that might make it tricky, but you might be able to do some things with Yarrick and reactive moves and all that sort of thing that allows you to be safe. But yeah, so that has potential. Using it is going to be tricky, I think, because guardsmen don't tend to survive very long. We then have Omnicized Ungiants, I don't know. A Tech Priest, while within 3 inches of that armoured skirmisher, that unit has the Feel No Pain 5+. Yeah, that's really good if you can stay within range. Probably because saying within 3 means that unit has to move a lot slower, but I guess does keep them alive longer. Finally, Grand Strategist, officer model only. After deployed, if this model is on the battlefield or in a transport, select up to 2 units with the regiment or squadron and redeploy. Yeah, so that's really solid. Allows you to kind of just see what's happening, move to one side or other of the board with 2 of the units, and a bit of flexibility in the unit type, and isn't limited to having to be an armoured skirmisher. So if you do still have a tank, it means you can pivot it across, or if you kind of realise that you're going to get lit up turn 1, does that. So yeah, I think that the extra orders one is really probably the most solid out of that, depending on again how much of the kind of unit types you have on the board. Yeah, they're okay. Grand Strategist is probably the one that you'll get the most life out of if you struggle with deployment. The Feel No Pain one is the trickiest to use just because of the range requirement. We then have Order the Advance under the strats. Start of your movement phase, reroll advance rolls made for those units. You can select 1 or more friendly Astra Militarum units within 6 of that officer. Cool. So yeah, you can stack up turn 1 and get some really good movement potential. Supporting Ordnance, this is the each time an Armoured Sentinel unit from your army that hasn't shot until the end of the phase, it gets to reroll a hit roll against a monster or vehicle unit it's targeting. Yep, pretty useful. Movement phase, just after an Armoured Skirmisher advanced or falls back, it's eligible to shoot. Yep, that's really solid. Combined Fire, Armoured Skirmisher unit in your shooting phase just after a unit has shot. So that unit gets to give another unit +2 strength, and they cannot get the benefit of cover. If it's +2 strength, as long as another Armoured Skirmisher unit, which you probably will have in this detachment, shoots, they get +2 strength. Really good with the firing deck 12 new transport. Burst of Speed, or the Hippo one, because again a lot of their weapons, the breakpoint of strength +2 is really good, and they can fire and fade and hide. So Burst of Speed, enter your movement phase, 1 Astra Militarum unit from your army that did not remain stationary or arrive from reserves can do a normal move of up to D6. So yeah, Phantasm, but in your turn. But it is really useful. So you can, with the Hippo unit, they can go 12, advance 6, go an additional D6, so they're going 24, and then can move, shoot, move for another D6 for a potential 30 inches of movement on 1 unit. Yeah, that's pretty big. Does allow you to kind of, if you get a bad advance roll, I guess, kind of boost that a little bit at least with that. If you have made a normal move though, you won't be able to do another one because you can only make 1 normal move per phase, so you'll have to have assault moved to then do this one, which I think people will probably miss. But yeah, that is very useful on the Hippo unit. And then finally, opening salvo, your shooting phase, 1 Astra Militarum unit from your army that disembarked from a transport this turn and has not been selected to shoot, +1 to wound. Yep, really solid on Scions and Kaskin. There's a strat, so I think that one's solid. So I think this has more play, the Armoured Infantry one, than the Titanic one. I still don't think that it's going to outdo Grizzled or Recon Guard, but it definitely has options, definitely has play with the new units, and we'll see how well it does. That's both the kind of videos for today, going through the full detachments that have kind of been released. There's the other one I did slightly earlier before this one that went through the new Space Marine one, so do go check that out if you haven't already. If you haven't looked on Facebook and Instagram, please do. Please kind of like, share and subscribe to the channel to kind of hear about more videos. There will be kind of more coming as we get more information around the rules on 11th, and we'll do some how to play videos as well, just to help people with the transition to the new edition, or if you're completely new to the hobby. But yeah, have a good day, and